I saw him in Delhi at the airport the first time I saw him. I thought, oh, he's pretty cute. Walking?
Yeah, all right.
Walking is okay.
Nah, you gotta run it. I feel like a wuss.
The first time I met Shane was in the Himalayas, but mostly he was passing me.
It's funny, you never know how a run's gonna go when you start out, you know.
Where are you from? From Australia.
Okay, yeah.
You heard of Tasmania?
Oh yeah.
Remember the Tasmanian devil in the cartoon? Maybe Shane was the inspiration for that.
How can you meet Shane and not just like be drawn to him?
He's a very strong person, physically and mentally.
Always excited and crazy.
I don't know how he does it, but that's Shane.
Yeah, definitely crazy.
Yeah, gonna have a go at Grand Canyon. Running the Grand Canyon, so we're running parts of. Should be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it.
You know, he just seems to go from strength to strength recently.
He is so motivated. He is, like, I consider myself goal-oriented. His is to survive, and he has done an incredible job.
To have a second chance in life is pretty amazing. I mean, not many people really get to have that opportunity. Sometimes I feel, you know, I've got this illness because I've got the strength to overcome it and to do something good with it. It's just not being
What's going on?
just a few spasms, that's all. But every time they'd hand me a wheelchair to sort of get around the hospital, I pretty much refused it. And there was a room full of doctors and they just would look at me with this, "You poor deluded bloke. Yeah, you don't realise sort of what's going on," but I just thought that they don't know me. What running does is it releases natural dopamines and chemicals down the spine that are basically natural opiates, and that counteracts the signal what's going on with SBS.
He would have like this weird stuff happen to him, like the spasms, and then just be gone. So he literally thought he was going to die. And I think if he had not started running and doing his own rehab program, he would probably be dead.
No, mediocre pain for a few months, and yeah, it just got to the point where I just had to ask my girlfriend at the time to take me to the hospital. What was happening was minor spasms, like imagine getting a piece of wire and just slowly wiggling it until it fractures and breaks, and I ended up with a fractured back. My girlfriend at the time basically watched me have spasms on the floor like a fish out of water, just flapping around for 2 weeks, and she basically said "F this" and walked away, which I don't blame her one little bit, you know.
The immune system can occasionally make a mistake, and if it targets these inhibitory neurons in your spinal cord, then it can damage them, and it can result in this hyperexcitability at the spinal cord level. It would cause terrible, debilitating muscle spasms, clenching of the jaw, arching of the back, complete inability to relax the muscles. I was just a skeleton in skin. It just stripped all my muscle fibre. It was just really going to town on me.
Many people don't know what stiff person syndrome is. They've never heard it. Rare diseases are also called orphan diseases. And the reason is because there's no funding to study them.
The ballpark estimate is about a 1 in a million, maybe a couple per million people have the stiff person syndrome.
An absolutely horrendous, horrible, nightmarish disease.
Really excruciating, to the point that I used to wake up screaming back in the day when it was sort of SBS had hold of me, before I started getting on top of it and controlling it through running.
When he called me, he said, "I've started to run. I run along the beach."
one morning when I just woke up, I was just so sick of continual muscle spasms, and it was just constant, just one after another. So I decided to fight back every time I had a muscle spasm. I'd flex as hard as I could in that area, like 10 times the amount. So if I had one muscle spasm, I'd do 10 times. If I had 3, I'd do 30, until I ended up doing 300 that morning, and they stopped. And that's when I first realised that I had half a chance of defeating this illness. It was like winning a round against someone like Muhammad Ali, like an opponent that you'd think this is an impossible to get a victory, but I realised that I was getting a victory by doing that. So that was the start of a little bit of glimpse of hope. There's no way that any event could be as tough as what my own rehab was. You don't realise how strong you are sometimes until you're put in that position.
He's a big surprise. He really is. And he's just the type of person who can inspire a lot of people.
It's freedom like you would not believe. The more I do, I keep getting stronger. As far as the ultra running community, and they inspire me because they've got out and done it without having anything wrong with them or an illness where it took me to get really sick and to have that second chance.
He's just having a great time out there.
His whole, just amazing that he can be so upbeat and so happy despite what he's going through.
I just don't get it. Life's too short, life's too precious. Life is really precious, and just to give up, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't register.